bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your dearly starring host, Matt Sroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Roca.
Hey, Matt, how are you doing?
Oh, just fine. Better than the Wizards.
Have we now just conceded that the NBA draft is rigged?
I think so. There's a good bit of history here now going back a ways. Apparently, I'm all into the conspiracy theories saying that this was just to get Luka to the Lakers. In exchange, Dallas got to get the number one overall pick. But I thought maybe this could be the year for the Wizards. I was even watching, when you watch the March Madness, I was watching for Cooper Flag, thinking, okay, watching a future Wizard here. But of course, the Wizards end up with like number 6 pick or something, and they'll be terrible for the rest of time. And so even though the Orioles are terrible this year, at least they're not as bad as the Wizards. So we got that going for us.
Yes. It's it's still it's still plenty of time. You still got a whole off season to go.
Yeah.
For the Wizards to figure something out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know you've gotten big into the NBA with your son. I have trouble getting into the NBA. I'd love to get into the NBA, but I think baseball and football takes up enough time.
Yeah, no, I'm into it, and I've been watching all the playoff games. The only thing there's two things I don't like the playoff games is they go on too late. I can't stay up that late on a consistent basis to see all these West Coast games. And then the other thing I don't like is all these series are 7 games. Even like the first round is 7 games. Yeah. So you don't really need to watch until like game 3 or game 4.
Right.
It's a little bit too much, but we all know why they do it that way.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, money. So, but anyway, we're here to talk about some Orioles. Josh, are the Orioles fixed now that we took 2 out of 3 from the Angels?
I like to think we took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. We took 2 out of 3 from the Angels. We're on the rebound. And you know what? Here's what I feel good about the Orioles.
Took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees.
Yeah, when was that? Was that 2 weeks ago?
No, you have to go back to April, Josh. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But let's skip what happened against the Royals when we were there, and let's skip what happened against the Twins.
Right.
Yeah.
What I enjoy about the Orioles right now is that we have 3 good starting pitchers, with Eflin back and looking good. Seguna's looking better every outing, and Kramer has been looking better every outing. So that's what gives me hope.
Oh, Josh taking shots fired at Cade Povich to open up the show.
No,
nice,
not shots fired. Just
he wasn't on your list of good pitchers.
Not getting me excited.
Well,
Gunnar Henderson's been playing really well, and that gets me excited as well.
Oh, it does? That gets you going?
That gets me going. And then I ran into a stat today about the Washington Nationals.
We're talking about a lot of Washington sports to start the show off. Can't wait for us to talk about some
let's do it right. Let's get the Nats out of the way right now.
Okay.
Because I was talking to someone, and then I was like, well, let me see. And I looked up the Nationals. Because do you remember they won the World Series in 2019?
Okay, sure. That was that's when they had Schwarber. That's when they had, of course, Bryce Harper.
Who's their pitcher?
Strasburg. Max Scherzer was on that team, right? Was he Max Scherzer?
Patrick Corbin was on that team. Juan Soto was on that team.
Oh yeah, Juan Soto was on that team. Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry, because Bryce Harper never won a World Series.
No.
So he left, and then the next year they won. Yeah.
Yes.
But Juan Soto was on that team. Yeah, and Trey Turner.
Right. They had these young stars.
And Rendon, whose contract with the Angels makes Chris Davis' contract look like a steal. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. So I looked up today's date.
Yeah.
I said on May 13th, 2019, what was the record of the Washington Nationals? Because, again, I was doing the comparison of the Nationals won where they did the thing we did. They rebuilt, they got young players, they got these young stars, and they won the World Series. That's what sent me down this path.
Okay.
What do you think their record was on May 13th, 2019?
All right. This is the ultimate cherry picking of stats, but I'm here for it.
Hey, it's cherry picking, but it's cherry picking with a point. It's cherry picking based on today's date. The Orioles, by the way, are 15-24 right now.
I'm guessing your argument is saying it's very similar to a 15-24 record for the Nationals.
It is creepily similar.
Okay.
The Nationals were 16-24 on the same day in their season. So one more win.
So you're saying we have to win tomorrow? Okay.
I'm saying if we would have won tonight, we could have been dead even with the Nationals.
Yeah.
And they just came off. They pinpoint. People look at May 13th for when the National season started to turn around.
Why did they fire their manager?
No, they did not.
Oh, okay.
But they split a big series in Los Angeles. Now that was against the Dodgers, not the Angels. But creepily similar. So then I did some more research and I looked up what changed with the Nationals.
Yeah. They got rid of Bryce Harper. Oh, no, I'm sorry. After that date. Okay.
No.
That
What
date.
happened?
Yeah.
How did they turn the season around with all those struggles?
Yeah, okay.
And
What happened?
Here's what came up. They kept their manager, even though everyone was calling for Dave Martinez to be fired.
Okay, Dave Martinez, sure.
He stuck around, and he kept telling the team, go 1-0 today, ended up being their slogan. Win today. 1-0 today. Then they stabilized their bullpen. Their bullpen was rock solid. And I think our bullpen's pretty strong. I'm pretty happy with our bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Then their stars showed up. So Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto, Strasburg, these guys showed up.
Trey Turner.
To play well.
Sure.
No, Trey Turner's point number 4.
Okay. Can't wait to get
number 4.
Okay.
They got healthy. Trey Turner was injured. Trey Turner came back, and a couple other players came back, and that started to click their lineups. So Jordan Westberg, Colton Cowser, we need you guys back. And then from May 24th till the end of the season, the Nationals went 74-38, which is a great run.
Yeah,
that's once
incredible.
They got healthy. They won the wild card spot, and then carried that momentum into the postseason and over the World Series.
Any research? Did Gerardo Pera come into any of your research in that? Former Oriole and National? Okay. Because he had the you remember he had the first of all, he's a former Oriole. We traded for him, didn't work out for us.
Yes.
But he had the Baby Shark. That's why they started doing the Baby Shark song. Remember that at all the national games?
They got the Baby Shark. We got the
cowboy hat.
Pirate hat. It's a pirate hat.
Oh, it's a pirate hat. What's the deal? Do we know what the deal is with that hat?
Yeah. Yes.
What's the story?
Monday, the Orioles had off. Or not Monday, whatever day the Orioles got to LA, Brennan Hyde told the guys to relax and have fun. So Gunnar Henderson and some other guys went to Disneyland. And I guess Gunnar Henderson's been doing like a Jack Sparrow salute when he gets a double or if he hits a home run. So he bought a Jack Sparrow hat at Disneyland and brought it back. There's also a problem with the Homer hose. That the Homer hose was full of mold, so they had to order a new one. And I believe that just arrived back in Baltimore for this Minnesota series.
Does this have something to do with our lengthening injured list?
Yeah, it might be. It might
moldy
be
Homer hose.
Mold in the bong.
Yeah.
So we had to order a new one of those. So that's where that's just I was just impressed where it's like. When I'm starting to feel better about the Orioles with Eflin back and with Gunnar playing well and with the team winning some games, to then do that research on the 2019 Nationals kind of solidified me. All right, well, another team has done it before.
Okay, that's interesting.
There's a chance.
How were your mindsets at? My mindset, I was coming at this from a different angle. I've been watching our Fangraphs playoff odds.
So you're going in it's getting worse every day.
Yeah, Josh, we're now. Do you know what our percentage now to make the playoffs is?
You know what? If it's more than 0.2, I'm okay.
Okay. There's only one team in the American League, the White Sox, that actually have a 0%. Like, I
Okay.
don't know how that's possible, but according to this, like, it's not even like a 0 point something. It's just straight 0.0.
We've been there many years as Oriole fans.
Yeah. But it's at 8% chance to make the playoffs.
I'll take it.
To put that in perspective, the who had this on their bingo card? The Oakland Athletics have a 16% chance. According to Fangraphs, the Athletics are twice as likely to make the playoffs
Yes.
as the Orioles are.
And I will take that simply because Fangraphs has been against the Orioles for its entire existence.
Well, I don't think it's just Fangraphs. What are the Vegas money line of the Orioles make the playoffs right now? Josh, if you
I would
believe
put
in
my
the
money
Orioles,
down.
yeah, you should maybe put some money down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an app on my phone right now. That'll do it.
Yeah, I got, according to the AI Google search, it's between plus 380 and plus 600 to make the playoffs.
Okay. I'd take that. I'd put money on that. This team is too good individually to really be this bad. I want to talk about Adley later because I have major concerns about Adley.
Oh my.
But the rest of the team I feel really good about.
Okay. I think you mentioned it before that Gunnar Henderson has been playing good ball lately.
Yeah.
I think maybe at the beginning of the season, we underestimated how important Gunnar is to this team. Sometimes we talk about last year when Jordan Westburg went out and how that kind of put things into a funk. And we talked about how Jordan Westburg is the key to this lineup. The reality of it is, Josh, one could argue on this team right now, we only have one superstar, right? You could maybe,
Henderson.
yeah.
Jackson Holiday's getting there.
Yeah, but he's not a superstar.
But he's not a superstar. No.
Maybe Felix Bautista, you can maybe argue, is in that same league. But really, it's on the offensive side, it's Gunnar.
Yeah.
He is our superstar.
Yes.
And when you're a superstar, your one superstar is batting, 190, batting 200. Goodness knows that's going to have a negative impact on your offense.
Sure.
And then when the superstar gets rolling, I think you realize, a player like Gunnar is good enough to kind of carry the whole team for long stretches at a time. And yeah, Jackson Holliday is playing really well too. But I think the Gunnar Henderson playing like he's capable of playing, I think maybe we didn't realize the significance of this at the beginning of the season, and now we recognize when Gunnar's rolling, it makes a whole difference to everyone in the lineup.
Yes, and I think, and I see that way about Jordan Westburg and even Colton Cowser, that's the important difference they can make if we can get them healthy and into this lineup. Those are the type of players that get the important get the pivotal hits with runners in scoring position that we lack so big. Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westburg, those are the guys who are going to knock those runs in.
Yes, there is some, and I'm curious to see how this plays out. I think there is a little bit of criticism with Gunnar in terms of his kind of, and I don't know what his stats are around this, but in terms of his clutch factor, the clutch gene.
Yes.
Does he get the big hit at the big moment? I think there is still a little bit of question marks around Gunnar. And so, but we'll see how that plays out in the long term. But just having Gunnar be Gunnar again, it makes the whole team kind of feel different offensively.
It is, and Ryan O'Hearn's playing really well as well.
All year he's been good all year.
He's been good all year. But when you mention clutch, I think of Ryan O'Hearn. I think of Jackson Holliday's clutch. He seems to get the big hit when needed.
Yeah.
So I see that.
Yeah, that's fair. And you mentioned if we want to go there for a second, in terms of the injuries, that I was just reading prior to the show, the BaltimoreBaseball.com friend of the show, Rich Dubroff, kind of had a nice article about an update on all these injuries. And as I was reading them, I forgot how many injuries there were.
Oh yeah.
At various stages.
Every part of the team.
Yeah, it is. And so just to recap, Tyler Wells,
Okay.
right, who had elbow surgery in last
Yes.
June, he's still rehabbing his right elbow, and so he is, I guess, throwing. He is
he's
doing
throwing
things.
Yeah, he's throwing from a mound. I saw that.
Yeah, and so it's at this point there's no timetable for his return, but we're still hoping to have Tyler Wells back second half this
Yeah,
season.
July. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in a similar situation, I think is Bradish, right? Is Cobb Bradish.
Yeah, I think he's a
the
little
same deal.
ahead. He's a little ahead of Tyler Wells.
Yeah. He got the old from Mike Elias. He's progressing well, whatever that means.
Right. And he's been on the bump a little bit longer. He's been on the bump a few weeks now.
Yeah, but still probably like a July return.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be a setback at some point. I'm just prepared for that.
Yes. Yeah. So July quickly could turn into August. That's how it
Okay.
works. Speaking of setbacks, our boy Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah, is he still alive?
He is. The update on him is like he had the right elbow inflammation, but
Yes.
when Elias was asked about it, Elias talked about they're still waiting for his lat to heal. And so I think even they can't even start doing stuff to figure out what's going on with the elbow until the lat gets better. And that's been a recurring issue with Grayson Rodriguez is the lat.
Now they're still hopeful that he will start throwing by the end of the month. So then
Yes.
you're looking at a end of June timeframe.
Right. They're hopeful. I'm not. I think he's done for the year. Because even that is like we haven't even dealt with the elbow issue. We're still trying to figure out the lat issue, and then we'll get the elbow.
Yeah.
I'm very pessimistic about Grayson Rodriguez's chances here to return. And then moving on to kind of wrap up the pitchers, Suarez has the rotator cuff injury. I think it looks like he might not return this year either. He's not no timetable for his return.
I like how you're going so negative that you're like, if you don't give me a date today, you're done for the year.
Josh, you know how these pitcher injuries work.
I do.
Rarely is it there's no timetable and in 2 weeks, look, he's ready to pitch. That doesn't really
where
happen.
is while we're still on pitchers, what about Kittredge?
Yes. Oh yeah. If we want to go relievers, he's
should
the
be back
closest.
soon.
He's already been
right?
throwing at Norfolk and Aberdeen. He's doing rehab, so I think he is any day now.
So that could even be this weekend.
Yeah, it could be this weekend, and that'd be a nice addition to the bullpen, a much needed addition to the bullpen.
Good.
And that's it with pitchers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that covers the pitchers.
All right. So now, where do you want to go? Jordan Westberg or Colton Cowser? Who's next on your list?
Sure. Let's talk about Cowser. He had a fractured left thumb.
Yes, from that dive into first base.
Yeah, from a stupid dive into first base.
Yep.
And he is, I guess he's now, his thumb is now free. He doesn't have the cast or the brace on it. He is on the injured list till May 30th, so he can't even return.
Right, because they moved him to the 60-day.
Right, because he's put on a 60-day, and that 60-day.
So he's
up
June
May 30th.
When you're on that list, does that mean he can't play in Norfolk until after May 30th?
That's a great question. I'm pretty sure he can do the rehab. And I see Pigtown Sports is in the chat. Maybe Pigtown can help us out with this. I believe you can do rehab assignments while still on the injured list, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Hopefully very early June we can get him.
Yeah.
All right. How about
Jordan
Westberg? That's my guy.
Yeah, your guy. And I thought, like, when we went in and saw them in Kansas City and saw them in Baltimore play Kansas City, I saw Jordan taking some ground balls at third, which was a good sign.
Now that's when he had his setback, though, right?
Right. Then he had a setback. And so he was supposed to play for Norfolk, I think, like this week, but he didn't play because he had a setback, whatever that means, with his strained left hamstring.
That was last week. He's supposed to play this week in Norfolk.
Right. Exactly. He was supposed to play last week, didn't play. And so he has a setback. And so hopefully, I mean, he's not in that. They don't have a timetable for his first game, but hopefully we'll see him in the lineup sometime this week at Norfolk.
Yeah. And then up here before the end of the month, the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I would imagine Jordan Westbrook hasn't been out long. I don't think he needs,
probably 2 games. 2 to 3 games.
Yeah, a couple games. I don't think he needs a week down there.
True.
Um,
All
then
right.
then your boy Gary Sanchez.
Oh yeah. Can we just cut him? We
I
don't need
like
him back.
yeah, I like Gary Sanchez. Though
Did he get a? Did he get
Hanley,
a
I
hit?
think has played well.
Did Gary Sanchez get a hit his entire while he was up? Does he have a hit
Yes,
yet this year?
yes.
All right.
I'm not going to pull up his stats because they're embarrassing, but yeah, he's got a hit.
All right.
Anyway, he was out with right wrist inflammation, and the word on him that he isn't close to returning. So, Josh, good news for you.
Good news. That's great.
Yeah.
No need to rush him. Sanchez, enjoy retirement.
And then Ramon Arias. See, that's what I'm talking about, Josh. The list just keeps going on. You
I
got
forgot about Ramon Urias.
If you don't check in on this,
Ramon was real hot.
He was
started
hot.
out hot.
He was hot. This is why, I mean, think about infielders, right?
This
Down
is the,
Westberg and
yes.
Arias.
This is the type of thing that gets me hopeful. Urias just went down, right? Does he need rehab as well? Does he have to go to Norfolk?
I don't know. They said he could be activated as early as Wednesday.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, so he could be back soon, which I assume would mean
maybe he can be the extra man for the doubleheader tomorrow.
Oh, that's true. That would be a simple thing to do.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is Wednesday. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I was thinking tomorrow was Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Doubleheader. It would make sense to put him in there as the extra man.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside is I assume
it's Mateo. It's got to be Mateo.
I assume it's Rivera, but Rivera's been playing really well.
Rivera's playing really well. You can't knock him out.
He's been playing well defensively and offensively.
Yeah. Do we have an extra outfielder at this time?
Yeah, I mean, we have Carlson is still in the roster, so it could be Dylan Carlson.
It could be Dylan Carlson.
Yeah, and then
you'll just put Mateo out there
because Mateo can play center really well. Good point, Josh. So we've got an elite center fielder, Mateo.
Hopefully, he's been working on that.
Yeah, but with our luck, someone else will get injured between now and tomorrow.
Yeah, it seems to work its way out.
The other injury that Rich DeBruff mentioned, I guess it's worth mentioning. I don't know. Enrique Bradfield Jr. Who played like Bowie, a week at Bowie and then went on with a left hamstring injury. He just came back this past week, did some rehab games with the Florida Complex League, and so he should be back at Bowie hopefully this week.
That's just an interesting guy to keep an eye on, just like Sammy Basello, where it's like we're not ready for him up here, but if he gets hot at the right time, works his way through, he might be an end of season.
Yeah, they both could be intriguing September call-ups, especially, I mean, watch what happens with Jorge Mateo because
correct. He's here for his speed.
Enrique Bradfield brings that speed, late inning defense replacement, base running. Enrique Bradfield is a plus defender, but we already have kind of a plus defender in center field, so that'd be interesting. Right. I mean, I assume Enrique Bradfield could be plus right or left fielder too.
Right, and you might try to get some looks at Bradfield with the big league club this year to help you make your decision on Cedric Mullins in the offseason.
Yeah, Cedric Mullins, man, that's an interesting season so far for him, right?
Yeah, because I wrote him off. I think you did too. We were like, okay, this is his last year, but he's having a great year.
But he's not anymore.
Oh, I guess
that was a week ago. That was a week ago.
Right. It's been a week.
Josh, his last 15 games, he's batting 140. His last 7 games, he's batting 115 with 0 walks.
Numbers.
Yeah, he's been bad. Are you just going to take shots at Adley all day?
Do you?
All show?
Well, here's my problem. Because, again, I've been trying to do more TikToks. So I looked up Adley Rutschman and saw how bad his stats were.
Do you do TikToks as you or TikToks as baby you?
As me.
Okay.
But we might do a baby you and me clip for TikTok.
Okay.
Now that I figured out that work. But
I feel like, well, never mind. I was going to say something about how I don't like China getting all my images to manipulate, but they already have it all anyway. So
they got everything.
Yeah.
Adley Rutschman's bad this year.
Wow.
He's batting 203.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Do you know what his batting average is since July 1st of last year? 198.
That's not good, Josh.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Adley, it seemed like Adley was real hot for the first 3 games. And we made the jokes that, Adley came in better shape and he dropped the girlfriend, maybe refocused on baseball. But now I'm starting to get concerned that if Adley doesn't turn this around, that he is a bigger bust than Matt Wieters.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't even.
Who? Matt?
Hold on. Take a breath. Oh, take a breath.
Who?
Take a breath. Oh my.
Adley Rutschman was drafted when? 2019, right?
Oh yeah.
21. When was Adley Rutschman drafted? 2019. Drafted number 1 overall.
Yeah, ahead of Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, the debate was him or Bobby Witt Jr. How's Bobby Witt Jr. doing now?
He's doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Adley Rutschman's been on a decline every single year of his career. How do you explain that?
Okay, well, first we need to go back.
Without telling me that Adley might be a bust.
Okay. First we need to slow our roll a little bit and go back to your comment about Matt Wieters, because Matt Wieters was not a bust. Okay.
No, he just was never Jesus in cleats. Here's my problem. The reason I compare to Matt Wieters is because Matt Wieters, all of baseball classified him as Jesus in cleats, threw him on the cover of Sports Illustrated before he did a thing. For Adley Rutschman, we declared him as the face of the organization, the face of the future, the face of the rebuild before he did anything. That's why I compare the two. And they're both catchers, obviously, for the Orioles.
Right. And both both top picks.
Yes.
My approach to it is a part of this is not just the hype, but it wasn't just the Orioles putting hype on him. Like, I remember watching, because I was team quit for Witt all year, but then I sat down and watched all the coverage of the draft, because that's the Orioles draft number 1. So you're watching the coverage, and they're showing the Oregon, highlights, walking him with the bases loaded, how he's dominating. And not just that, but all like the leadership qualities that Adley Rutschman possessed, and how everyone loved him. And everyone to a man, go find someone. Here's a challenge in 2019.
Yes.
Find one person who said that Adley Rutschman was not going to be a superstar.
No, 100%. Everyone said he was going to be. He was the no chance of failure. That's an easy pick. He's a star. Real simple decision there. Just like Jackson Holliday. Did I lose you there? Or are you just that shocked that you have frozen with your mouth open at the concept that Adley Rutschman is not living up to the hype of Adley Rutschman?
Everyone said that he was not going to be the superstar. So the expectations were set there. And there's still a little weirdness happening, Josh, in that we've seen your boy manager Hyde have, I think you would credit him with doing some adjustments with the lineup based on performance.
Yes, he does that.
Jackson Holliday batted leadoff the other day, and Cedric Mullins was there for a hot minute when he was playing well. Then manager Hyde moved him down. Yet it does seem to me, and I don't know what the numbers are, but it seems like pretty consistently Adley Rutschman's hitting 3 and 4 in the lineup.
Correct.
That's a problem too. I think we need to. I'm not ready to throw out terms like bust or whatever. Certainly, this far in his career, he hasn't lived up to expectations. That's fair. I think we need to, at this point, Birdland needs to readjust a little bit our expectations. Hyde needs to readjust his expectations for him. He needs to move down the lineup to 7. I mean, I'm not ready to get rid of him, right? I still think he is. I mean, the catching position notoriously is not. I mean, struggles offensively,
right?
So I still think he is a good catcher. I think his numbers compare well. He's not a negative WAR guy. He only has 0.2 WAR this year, which is not, but it's not negative. But I think he should be hitting 7 and 8.
I agree. And
I think our expectation should be, at this point, average MLB catcher.
Yeah, I think part of it is also he is having bad luck. When you watch him, he does hit the ball hard, and it happens to go right to where they're playing him, right to gloves.
Yeah, but Josh, you talked about not like a sample size of a week. You're talking about going back to last year numbers.
Yeah, over 100 games, and he's batting over under 200.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is, but it's something you got to fix.
If you look at his percentile stuff, you can get all into Baseball Savant.
Yeah, like if you look at like the XWOBA versus the WOBA,
Yeah, the
that
WOBA.
shows him. Yeah, that's his bad luck. That's where you're seeing that more of these balls should be hitting the ground than they are, and it's a pretty big stretch. It's 363 to 289.
Right. Yeah. So his WOBA numbers are good. He also, if you look at like his chase rate, I mean, he is elite 97 percentile in the percentage of balls that are squared up, 96 percentile in his chase rate and his whiff rate.
Yeah.
So he's like he has. I mean, his walks are up. He has a good understanding of the strike zone. I think he's also, like all Orioles hitters, been screwed by some bad calls too when he's up. But his strikeout rate is good. His walk rate is good. Like his strikeout rate is low. His walk rate is high. All those things are good. And so
he's 100% pressing because they all are, especially as the team struggles. They're all pressing and trying to get the big hit. But I think that's where forget giving him days off at DH and stuff. I think you're right. Move him back to 7th or 8th. Take all that pressure off of having to set the pace. Put him deep in the lineup so he can watch more pitches before his at bat.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why you want him up, because he does see pitches. And that's one of the reasons why you want him up. It's because he'll get that pitch count up. But I mean, it's not even just take the pressure off. It's just from like a strategic to win the game.
No, strategic.
He comes up too often with runners on base. And I don't want him on with runners on base.
Exactly. That's why you move him back.
Because he's not getting the job done right now. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? You can talk about draft picks, high draft picks, and Gunnar Henderson at the end of the first round has turned into a superstar, not all these number one picks like Heston, or all these top picks like Heston and Jackson.
And I'm not ready to trash Rutschman yet. It's very frustrating, but I'm not ready to trash him yet. I'm just saying we went from we have to extend them, we have to extend them, we have to extend them to I don't know.
Right. And
Samuel Barcelo is going to come up, and he could knock Adley out of that starting position if Adley doesn't pull it together.
Well, I tell you what, there were, I think last year, maybe the year before, there were arguments to be made for trading Basayo, right? Here's maybe excess that you don't need since you have Adley. Why would you keep two catchers?
Right.
Samuel Basayo isn't going anywhere. Like he is not. Elias isn't considering trading him at this point because of the performance of Adley.
Yeah.
Why would you? Because you don't know, I think, at this point, what the future is for Adley. Hopefully Adley gets better.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, at the very least, he should be hitting 7 and 8.
You brought up the concept of a trade. And Ryan Leach is in the chat and is asking, would you trade Mayo for pitching? And I want to talk about Kobe Mayo a little bit.
Me too. Because I do too.
As soon as Kobe started hitting the ball, they sent him down again.
Yeah.
As soon as he seemed to get comfortable. And really, my takeaway I don't know where your takeaway is with Kobe Mayo. My takeaway right now with Kobe Mayo is that there is no spot for him on this team. And the best thing for Kobe Mayo is to trade Kobe Mayo. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay. It's insane a little bit, if you think about it, that he is not here, that Kobe Mayo is not here because we mentioned Westbrook is out, Urias is out.
Yeah.
This is probably the only time in the season where your 2 third basemen are going to be out. Oh, and by the way, Kobe Mayo plays third, and he's not here. That should say something about what Elias thinks of Kobe Mayo right now.
Yeah, they sent Kobe Mayo down rather than what's his name, our extra outfielder that you mentioned earlier,
Dylan Carlson or Emmanuel Rivera. Yeah, Dylan Carlson and Emmanuel Rivera are kind of these journeyman guys, and they're here ahead of Mayo. And part of it is Mayo's issues at third. Now, Josh, counterpoint. I also want to go back to the idea of Kobe Mayo, and because I've been hearing people talk about, is this a larger issue with the Orioles and player development? I want to go back to that point in a second.
And that's an interesting discussion as well.
Yeah, but another point about but you're saying he has no place. If you look at not just this year but going forward, first base Ryan Mountcastle. Don't you see this as a natural progression for Kobe Mayo to take over that first position from Ryan Mountcastle in the future?
I don't, because I see Adley Rutschman moving into that position.
Oh, you can't. No way, Josh. With Mountcastle's production?
No,
You're gonna have,
I think it's.
I mean,
Mountcastle's for now.
with Adley Rutschman's production at first base, you can't have that.
Yeah,
You
I
need a
guess
guy
so.
put up better numbers than.
Yeah, I guess my thought is that he would be doing better and putting up better numbers. But so you're saying now I know Mountcastle did play better this week.
Yes,
and Mountcastle has ran into a ton of bad luck.
I hear you go with the bad luck again. Yeah,
just like Adley.
Well, here's the thing that concerns me about Ryan Mountcastle, and I don't think this is the bad luck thing. And you're right. If you look over the past week, he's batting 300, but no home runs over the past week.
Right.
All season long for your power hitting at first baseman, he has 2. And we talked about this last episode. Last year, he just had 13. And so for a power hitting first baseman to not have power, and that's not a luck thing, right?
No, I agree.
You hit the ball over the fence, no one's, catching it. And so that's, to me, is the bigger issue. And I see perhaps a brighter future at first base with Kobe Mayo and those power numbers.
I could buy that. I do buy that, except I don't know if the Orioles believe in Kobe Mayo.
Well, that's
because
the question.
Again,
Kobe Mayo.
You didn't give him any time at first base, and I get that you've got Mountcastle and O'Hearn you're trying. So first base is crowded this year.
Yeah, but it won't be. I don't think it'll be next year. I think there'll be a couple openings next year.
I guess that's why I was surprised to see O'Hearn come back this year, because I thought that was going to be Mayo's spot.
Yeah, but O'Hearn's is just
So
it's manager Hyde's lefty righty stuff. O'Hearn's
I know
a lefty, and Mayo and Mountcastle are righties.
So you think we're just going to hold on to him for next year?
Yep. And I'm curious. I mean, if anything happens, I think he struggles a little bit at third base, and so I think first base makes more sense. And so I think that's kind of the inevitable move, especially if you have Westberg at third, Holiday at second, Gunnar at short. There's no long-term future at third base, really, anyway. So, I mean, I don't know why he's not playing first base every day for Norfolk for the Tides, because it seems like that's the only spot that makes sense in the future for this Orioles roster. The other thing I'll go back to that player development point, because I saw people criticizing with the start of Heston, with Jackson Holiday having such a bumpy start to his career, with Kobe Mayo, with Adley Rutschman. People make the larger argument that this is a player development issue.
Right.
I push back against that pretty strongly. And
I would also throw out there the Heston Kjerstad jump to the majors, where he has not been.
Yes,
what we expect.
Agreed. And I think those are fair arguments against our developmental system. And it's the weird part. I find the thing that's weird about it, though, is they all are like, we seem to be doing a really good job of putting them in a position to be successful all throughout the minors. Like, they put up great numbers all throughout the minors, and they only struggle when they get to the majors. To the point where, like, Kobe Mayo, people forget this. Kobe Mayo was a fourth-round high school pick. This isn't a first-round guy. This isn't a can't-miss prospect. This is like a guy, a fourth-rounder with, that was not a can't-miss at all. And we developed Kobe Mayo into this top prospect. And so now that he struggles, I think it's important to keep in mind, like, we got him here. Like, we are part of the reason. I mean, he got him here with his skill and talent and hard work. But, like, he was a fourth-rounder. He wasn't this number one pick.
Yeah.
I would also point out that you can throw out negative examples, but you can just as quickly throw out positive examples, right? Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westberg. We could have this argument. Colton Cowser. Like, we could go back and forth with this, and there are examples of a rookie of the years and runner-up to rookie of the years, and there's examples of success too. And so I think it's too simple to say, "Oh, just player development's a problem."
Exactly. And look at Adley's first year, as he made the jump from AAA to the majors, really solid as well.
Yeah. Now, if you have a bunch of players on the major league squad who aren't hitting like they did in the minors and aren't hitting like they did in past years. Certainly, like Cody Ash and the hitting coach, like that's a little bit like you're going to take the heat for that,
Yeah,
understandably, right?
Yes. And maybe it's not development. Maybe it's how we're preparing them for the game.
Well, that's
or
what I'm
how we're doing
saying.
the lineup structure or something going on in the big league level.
Right. The approach to the individual pitcher, whatever.
Correct.
There's a lot that goes into each matchup. And so maybe there's something a little bit more there. I mean, it took Matt Holliday, an outside consultant with Jackson Holliday,
Yes.
to improve his swing. That has led to his success. At least a lot of people. It could be coincidental a little bit too, but
But it's also on the players where Jackson Holliday, if there's anyone he's going to listen to about adjusting his swing, it's his dad.
yeah.
So there's a little stubbornness of these players also of I've gotten this far with this, I'm not going to adjust.
Yeah, you don't know. I don't know what the relationship with Cody Ash is and the players.
No.
I don't know if they are receptive to change based on what
There's
they
lots
said.
of calls for Matt Holliday to be hired as hitting coach.
Yeah.
Matt Holliday does not want the job.
Yeah, why would he want the job?
He was he was hired as the bench coach for like the Reds or the Cardinals, some middle of the country team.
Okay.
And he quit after 1 week because he wanted more time with his family.
Yeah.
So he's not going to come here and be the bench coach.
Yeah, if you were Josh, and you wouldn't either, if you were him, if you made millions of dollars playing in baseball and you had one son in the majors and you had another son on his way to the majors,
yes,
like you want to go around and travel and watch them play games and not be putting in all the hours of a coach.
Right. No.
So that's fine. But if you want to hire him as kind of a consultant just to kind of when he's in town,
if you want to,
let's do one-on-one training sessions or something.
Yeah, if you want to bring him into Sarasota as a consultant for spring training, pay him for 2 weeks. I'm cool with that.
Or you don't have to go to Sarasota. Invite people into his barn and let them spend a week in his little batting cage barn.
Right, Kobe, you want to take the next step next year? Go visit Jackson this winter.
Yeah, you guys are roommates this winter.
Right, exactly.
Bunk up.
Go. Time for
Orioles can make a documentary about it. They love doing that.
Ground beef for everyone.
Yeah. So I think this is a little bit of bad luck that's happened to several players at the same time, because 2 years ago we had a bunch of success at the same time with Westberg and Gunnar.
Yes.
And so I think this is just, we're seeing the other end of it. And this is a part of how prospects work. Some immediately are superstars and some take a little bit longer to get there and some don't get there at all.
I agree. And again, as we started this episode, I'm not worried about this team. I still see a bright future this year.
Judge, I think that you keep on saying that. And can we go back to that for a second? Because I think you're insane.
You think this year's over.
I'm not saying it's over. Here's what I'm saying. Okay. And I have this in my show notes.
To still be positive. I also want Brandon Hyde fired. Two can be the same.
Okay. But for my part, taking 2 out of 3 with the Angels, and I know we scored some runs, and our pitching has gotten better. Yes. Taking 2 out of 3 with the Angels
should have been 3 out of 3. We got screwed by that call at the plate.
Okay, fine, but it doesn't make me think the season's turned around. When the series before that, we got swept by the Twins. The series before that, we watched in Baltimore lose 2 out of 3 to the Royals. So I don't know where this confidence from you is coming from, Josh.
This confidence comes from Zach Eflin, Tommy Sugar, and Dean Kramer. That's where my confidence is coming from. Seeing 3 guys go out there and give quality starts.
The way, listeners, do you hear Josh every week? Are you paying attention? He's been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks about 2 things: firing manager Hyde and how pitching was not the problem, the offense was the problem. Now he's saying Hyde should be manager of the year.
No.
The pitching is the answer.
I am still saying fire Brandon Hyde.
Okay.
I will stand by fire Brandon Hyde. I was on fire Brandon Hyde last year. I will continue all season to be on fire Brandon Hyde. I think the team wins in spite of Brandon Hyde.
Okay. Well, Josh, I am calling this next 2 weeks. All right. The next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Maybe into 3 weeks. I'm calling it Hyde's last stand. Hyde's last stand. Because I think the whole season, I should have led with this instead of waiting until we're 45 minutes in. I think the whole season is riding on the next 3 weeks.
Oh, I agree. I think that we need to win all these series, and be to 500 by the end of the month.
Because here's the reality, Josh. We play. I mentioned before 8% chance to make the playoffs. All right, that's not an encouraging number. I know that's math, and you think math hates the Orioles, but we go up against the Twins now.
Yes.
A week ago, we just played the Twins last week.
Yeah.
They swept us.
Yes,
and frankly, in pretty handily fashion. It wasn't even close.
Yes. Yeah, it was very embarrassing.
So we play them again in a weird series, which is now going to be all day games, which is a little bit weird too, but whatever.
Well, hold on. Tomorrow they won't both be day games.
Yeah. They are.
No. One's going to be like 1:35 and one will be 6:30.
No. I think it's 12 and 3.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's 12 and then right after the other one, I think.
Let's see.
I think that's how they're doing it. I think it's 12 o'clock. It's what do you call it? It's not a double admission game. It's a one admission, single admission, double header.
Admission, double header.
Which means they play it, they take a 30-minute break or whatever and do the next one. So I think it's going to be a 12:05, 3:15 day.
Why? Why is it 12:15? Is it a rain issue?
No, I think they want to do them quickly because you have an afternoon game tomorrow and you don't want them playing late followed by an afternoon game. So we're going to and then we play 12:30.
So tiny crowds at these games.
Yeah. If Birdland, if you're thinking about taking the off work and going on Thursday, I would recommend you don't go to Camden Yards. One of the only times I'd say don't go to Camden Yards. And because it's school field trip day at Camden Yards.
Oh, on Thursday?
Yeah.
All right.
So you want to stay away from that one.
Take your day off, skip work on Wednesday.
Yeah, you see 2 games for the price of 1.
I'm glad we'll have all the kids there on Thursday.
Yeah. And so after that, you go to you don't go
Washington.
to the Nationals come to us. We lost 2 out of 3 again in embarrassing fashion. I would say it's embarrassing.
Yep.
You lost 2 out of 3, so you get kind of your revenge, hopefully, against the Nats.
Yes.
And then you have the Brewers.
You go to Milwaukee. You're on the road.
You go to Milwaukee. I don't think DL Hall's playing, but Joey Ortiz will probably be there
if he doesn't have to poop.
Yeah, but that's like a 500 team that feels beatable.
Yes.
And then it seems like if you just look at
the most important series of the month,
the Red Sox are in second in the AL East.
Yes.
They're ahead of us. They look like they kind of figured some stuff out.
More importantly, we'll be there.
We will be at the Red Sox. We'll be at 3 of the 4 games.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. So if anyone else, listeners, going to be at Thursday, Friday, or Saturday's game, let us know. We'd love to kind of get together, say hi. And so I feel like these next going into that Red Sox series.
Then we finish the month with the Cardinals and the White Sox.
Yeah, the Cardinals are playing pretty good ball, but they're not a good team.
But the White Sox, we need to sweep. You have to take advantage of a bad team when you get one.
Yeah, but it feels like, I saw the first articles, Josh, earlier this week. I saw the first articles. Did you see these?
Sell.
About trading. Yeah, about trade candidates for the Orioles, which I think it's insane to have that conversation at this point.
Exactly.
But based on how these 2 weeks go, you're going to be seeing a lot more of those articles if it doesn't go well.
Oh, yeah. If we're into June and we're still under 500, then, it's something to discuss.
Well, I don't think we're going to get over 500 by June, but at least closer to 500.
Well, closer to 500.
Yeah.
How many days are we? I don't remember.
I mean, we're 9 games under 500 at this point.
Okay. So that's 3.
Josh, do a math on the fly. Let's see what number he comes up with. I'm fascinated to see. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink here and sit back and see what number Josh comes up with that we have to play in May. You're going to give me a number number of games we have to win in May to be at 500?
We play 19 games. So we got to win half of them.
We still have 19 games in the month of May?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
That is correct. I just counted.
It's May 14th. We played 9. That can't be right.
We have 3 games against Minnesota, 3 games against Washington, 3 games against Milwaukee.
Okay, we're at 9.
4 games against Boston. That
13.
13. 3 against St. Louis.
Okay,
You're at
16.
16.
Yeah,
3
16.
against the White Sox.
Okay, 18.
Oh, sorry. The 3rd game is on June 1st. So we'll go 18 games.
Okay. All right, yeah.
So we got to play 500. If we play 500 ball, I think that gets us to 500.
Josh,
Right? No,
that's
we have to play 9
insane.
plus. No,
We have
that
to play,
doesn't.
we don't have
We
to
got
win
to
them
win
all.
every game to get above 500. All right, so we don't have to be above 500. We just got to start winning baseball games. We got to move out of the cellar.
Yeah. I mean, if we go 10-8, no, if we go
Then we'll
11
gain
and
2
7,
games.
11 and 7.
Then we'll gain 4 games.
Right. So
Math is hard.
Yeah, we shouldn't have gone down this road.
But the
We shouldn't
point
have gone
is,
this road.
we have. Well, let's
The
do it.
point
this way.
is-
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 series left this month. We need to win those series. We need to take 2 games out of each of those series. To
Yeah,
really
but
show.
I would say even shorter than that, Josh. I mean, I think we'll know by the Red Sox. I think between now and the Red Sox, we have the Twins, the Nats, and the Brewers.
If the Twins sweep us again and the Nats take 2 out of 3 from us,
That's what I'm saying. We're done.
yeah, we're done.
This is Hyde's last stand. We need to win the next 3 series.
I don't think it'll ever be Hyde's last stand.
Oh, Josh, I think if we come June and we're sitting where we are right now, 9 games under,
Then it's Buck time.
I think he's done. I think
I
he's
hope
the
so.
next guy to be fired.
But see, now you're giving me a reason to root for the Orioles to lose.
See, don't go there with it. Don't go there with it.
I am still hopeful about this team that we can get in as a wild card and make something happen as long as we get healthy.
Okay, yeah. And then listen, I've seen nothing on the field to support that optimistic feeling. But props to you.
Well, I'm leaning on health. So
Okay,
check
fine.
out the medical tents.
Okay. But the turnaround in Angels, yes, had I guess maybe a little with Eflin, but more to do
Yes.
with I think our offense and,
We did hit
and
the
Gunner
ball.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And it'd be interesting to watch. I don't know. I never know what to make of the runners in scoring position stat where last year we were good. This year
It's
we're
clear-
kind of the worst in baseball.
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
really know what to make of the runners.
I know it's important.
Is that yeah. But I don't know if that how much of that evens out over the course of the season.
Well, we're hitting.
How much of that is people pressing?
Yeah,
How much of
we're
that?
hitting
I
into
feel
a
there's
lot of double
factors.
plays. So that's
And
definitely part of it.
We said that from I noticed that from like game 1. Like it was just all year we've just been double play balls.
Yeah, because we had that stat right before the season started about how we don't hit into double plays.
Yeah, so is this just the universe saying, we're due, kind of we had to regress
Maybe so.
to kind of make up for last year with all these double plays?
I don't know.
And let's get them all out of the way now, and then for the rest of the season we'll be better.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, this team has to turn around so I can be hopeful for next year too.
Yeah, because this is it. And if it doesn't happen soon, we will start talking about okay, who's eligible to be traded? Who can we get something back for? As opposed to the conversation we want to have is,
Who do we bring in?
Or do we want to trade Kobe Mayo for an upgrade at the start pitching? What other prospects could be dealt to improve us for a World Series run this year? That's a conversation we want to be having.
Yeah, we don't want to have the trade Eflin, trade Saguna.
Yeah, trade Mullins
discussion. Trade O'Hearn, trade Mullins, trade Mountcastle.
Yeah,
that's
trade Westberg.
No, he's still young enough.
Okay. Just wanted to see where you're at with that.
Trade O'Neill.
Yeah,
throw him in there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the majority of those guys probably have close to zero value right now, outside of Eflin and maybe O'Hearn.
Eflin and Tommy.
Yeah, Eflin, Tommy, and O'Hearn.
Yeah.
All right. But Josh is optimistic. We'll see. I mean,
am going to be optimistic right now. Now, we could lose 2 tomorrow, and I'm negative again. But I'm trying to force myself to be optimistic right now.
All right, and we'll see. I mean, time will tell, right? It's a long season, and when we meet up in Boston, I think we'll have hopefully a clearer picture of where this team's at and where this team is going. Because you're right. If we can get a little run here, we are going to get healthier. I think each week we'll get a little bit healthier. And if we can stay in it, I think the Cobb Bradish thing will be a huge boost for us in July.
If we can stay into it in July and get all that pitching back, that sure seems like it would help out.
Yeah.
And even the offense gets a boost in June with Colton and Westberg.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I think
Travis Wells,
Colton
July.
Cowger is a huge addition
Yeah.
to this offense. Yeah.
So it's just staying alive
Yeah.
for now.
All right. But we'll see. Got to stay alive.
Right.
Can't get too far out.
All right. Well,
All right.
We'll see what we do with the Twins,
Yep.
and we'll see what we do with the Nats.
Yep.
And I was thinking we would record next week in Boston.
Yep. We'll be together on Wednesday night.
That's true. Maybe we'll record Wednesday night in Boston.
Yes.
We could do
plan on
that. That'd be a good plan.
All right. I'm flying in around 5 on Wednesday.
I am flying in. I'm flying JetBlue. I don't know if I've ever flown JetBlue.
I've never flown JetBlue before.
I don't think I have.
JetBlue does a lot to Boston, though, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. I booked a flight for 8 p.m. Takeoff at 8 p.m.
Oh, a late night flight.
Yeah, late night flight because I have the Michael Mayer show in the morning and stuff. They then changed my flight to 11:40 in the morning.
They can't do that.
Without asking, do you want to move? Just here's your new flight.
Can they do that? I don't think they can do that.
Apparently so.
That's
So
weird.
I now go at 11:40 in the morning. So I get in at 2:30.
Mm.
So I'll meet you over at the hotel.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So Wednesday show next week.
Yep, Wednesday show next week. Sounds good. In the meantime, for any updates on our show, you can, of course, always follow our social media. We are, if you don't watch us live, you can watch us live when we record. I don't know if we'll go live on Wednesday night.
Depends on the hotel internet. We'll try.
Okay.
It'll be the two of us in bed, with microphones.
Yeah. Go back to our old spring training days.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can follow us on all our social media platforms. You can anything else we need to plug here, Josh, before we get out of here?
No, I think we're
talk
all good.
about.
I think we're good.
All right.
We're good.
You can follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Josh is busting out the TikToks left and right.
I'm doing TikToks every day. Well, not every day, but I'm trying to put a few out with my thoughts, good or bad.
All right. I might put out one this year.
I put out a TikTok complaining about Adley Rutschman and then a TikTok about how I'm hopeful for the Orioles after reading about the Nats.
All right. Yeah, you can follow Josh on TikTok. You can follow
and highlights of this show are on my TikTok.
Oh yeah, I saw a couple of those.
Yeah,
I don't really like those, to be honest, because I feel like it's just as a snippet, not really in context, and I feel like TikTok is like random people see videos on TikTok, and so you don't get the whole Section 336 show and our relationship and all that, and so you just see this random clip, and people comment on the random clip, not being coconuts, not having the whole context, and that bothers me a little bit. But
but that's a way to
the nature of the
coconuts. Hopefully,
all right, yeah, hopefully, fair enough. I just don't like it. You can follow us on Twitter as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Section 336. You can follow Josh on X
at Josh Soroka.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls, and as always, go O's.